This time, maybe older. I don't
Nah,
really
I'm a
know.
little older. The ages, I mean, I'm an older dude, but the ages like blur to where we were at the time. But I'll tell you what was happening is that, frankly, this is all pivotal too, because None and I were getting a lot more. By the way, the solid ground, as many levels as it was, somehow it also boiled back to just Nunzio and I being solid ground. So I have a song back in the day where I talked about how solid ground was really big, and then it started with me and None, and it went back to me and None. But we're now performing in NY. We're trying to get shows. We're trying to get booked everywhere. We're doing showcases. We're doing open mics. We're doing anything we can to rhyme. You know what I mean? And I remember we were so hungry to rhyme. As years passed, and I hosted EO Dub for many years. There would be nights where it get super late, like 2 in the morning, and there would only be like one person in the audience, but one other person wanted to rhyme. And when they want to rhyme, part of me, maybe it was my ego, but part of me would be like, why do you want to just rhyme for this one person? Like, you might as well just rhyme at your crib, like the show's over. But I remember I was that dude, yo. I was the dude who wanted to rhyme, just I don't care. If it was one person, no people, if they would put us on. And we went to this spot one time called Black Lily. Black Lily was a show that was from Philadelphia, and they would come up every Sunday night and do this show at a club called the Wetlands. Wetlands is closed now, but a dope club way downtown. And frankly, this was a show that Questlove would run. You would see early Jill Scott, Badu, Jaguar, that group Kindred, and this group called Jazzy Fat Nasties, which was two young ladies. And Jazzy Fat Nasties would host Black Lily. Now, at the time, None and I didn't know that it was a female dominated show. They wanted women to perform. We just heard it was the shit, and when we walked in, it was super groovy. I think fuck around, I think Black Thought was on the stage. I mean, he had carte blanche, of course, but I remember when he I got you on that, Van, where he was on stage, but we went to sign the list. We went up and signed the list, and the girl was going through list after list, and we were noticing it was only women coming up on stage. And we was like, oh shit, maybe this is just for women. We didn't know. She got to our name, and we started walking towards the stage, and she destroyed us verbally, like from the stage. She was like, "Oh, these motherfuckers think that they gonna come up here. This is a woman open mic, and we did it." Like shitted on us. Like spotlight was on us in the crowd, and she was like, "How dare you try to, OD on the female open mic?" We felt like shit. We walked back. I felt grimy, but yo, I was still that fucking dude who wanted to rhyme so bad in front of this crowd. Don't you know? I went back to that young lady, spoke to her, apologized. We didn't know this, that, and the other. She spoke to me. This is speaks kind of to my character and like the responsible mom, like Liddy, like Flacco said. Yo, she was like, "I'll see," right? The show went on and on and on. It got to be like 2 in the morning, and she came out and she was like, "You know what? I want to say something to this crowd. Earlier there were these two dudes and they tried to come up here and I thought they were being disrespectful, but this man was such a gentleman. He was so warm and thoughtful or whatever. We're gonna let them come on and rock right now, ladies and gentlemen, solid ground. And we got to spit that night, right? Again, it was a sparse crowd, but it speaks to A, how hungry I was to get on the mic like at any time, and B, to the responsible mom in me that was like, listen, we didn't mean that. No disrespect to black womanhood. Like, we just want to rock. And as a result, it got us on stage. That's a true story.
Yo,
And
that's like a huge thing that you just said, right? Because look, there's a lot of people right now struggling with the adjusting social climate. Like somehow it's hard to be respectful all of a sudden. I personally get where you're coming from. I find it highly advantageous to live in the way that you just described. And what you just shared is how by being humble, by owning your mistake, showing a sense of self-awareness to the situation, and by approaching the person respectfully to explain the misunderstanding, right? Because it was a misunderstanding and you explained it. You explained your end respectfully. At the end of the day, good things happened out of that situation because of your attitude and how you approached it. Now, you look at a lot of people in the world of Twitters and everybody's angry and stuff, but if more people were to approach situations the way that you approached that
yeah, man.
situation when misunderstandings happen, there'd be a whole lot less Facebook beefs and a whole lot less arguments, a whole lot less things going on. So I really appreciate you sharing that too. That's
I would
huge.
agree. Yeah, thank you, bro. Well, in that vein, right, to continue, and this connects, and Van asked me to share this story, and this is also a true story. Is that in this time we're going to these clubs in New York and we're performing. And now it has boiled down to just Nunzio and myself, and we are called Solid Ground. And we have a cadre of songs, bless you. We have a group of songs that we're performing, that we're trying to fine tune and do, that we have together. We think some really strong music, some of which later turned into our first EP, which is called Strategy God. But we had some of these songs cooking, right? We're going to these clubs in downtown Manhattan. Sometimes we're hanging at a bar called Bob's, which we used to rock out. Stretch Armstrong would spin there. Bobito used to spin there. And we were performing at a spot called Spiral. And Spiral had a DJ named Joey Ty, right? And had this other group that kept performing that were really good called Eye to Eye, right? And Eye to Eye consisted of Vice, Pro, and Ego Trip. And I can't front. I mean, for me, I wonder really, we have to ask them how they looked at it. But it really, for me, it was like super rivalry. You know what I'm saying? Not to the point where Solid Ground hated Eye to Eye, but I definitely saw them as a threat. Like I saw them like, yo, who the fuck are these dudes? You know what I'm saying? Like that was really the type energy. It'd be interesting to hear what Vice would have or what Pro or Ego Trip would say. But that was my initial reaction, was like, you know what I'm saying? They kind of nice, but yo, they not John Blaze like our shit. You know what I'm saying? We got more John Blaze shit. That's what I was on in my mind. Very competitive. And I remember times getting on before them and watching their reaction to us, and getting on after them and watching them and watching their stage show. And they just were so energetic. It had so much adrenaline. And I don't even know if we were speaking to them yet. We still would kind of give them eyes like these niggas. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? As we would pass each other in the club. But the one thing that's interesting is the DJ for the night, Joey Ty, he knew both crews, right? He knew both of us. So now put that on the shelf in your mind, right? Early on in the year 2000, I got married, right? I just celebrated my 20th wedding
Yo,
anniversary. My wife is
congratulations. That's
yeah,
huge.
salute. That is pretty huge. Uh, and here I am getting married, right? And this is how ill the story is. I get married. Who was the DJ at my wedding? Joey Ty. That's a fact. It's legendary. So Joey came to South Jersey to DJ at my wedding. He was like my favorite club DJ in New York, and I was almost like, oh my god, I can't believe I could get him to spin at my record. Fun fact: the hot record at the time, y'all, that I was like, you got to play this, you got to play this, Joey, was Doom, Doom, do doom, 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 doom. Whoa! Skibbity dibbity dibbity. It was that Shine record, and I had like specifically was like, hold this record for this part of the night because it goes hard. Anyway, Joey Ty was the DJ at my wedding. Spoke to Joey Ty, paid him that night. I'll never forget. It was dope. He bodied it. And Eileen and I, my wife and I, went on our honeymoon. We are on the beach in Cancun, and we're talking about like our lives back at home. And I've often said this to people, that sometimes when you are on vacation, it's almost like you can look at your home life like objectively. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're away from it, you're out of it, so you can almost see it clearer because you're looking at it from the outside in. So we're on the beach, and I literally am saying to Eileen, like, listen, when we give people our CD and stuff and give people our music and like our cassette tape at this point, we're not getting a good response, right? But when they see us live at shows, they loving us. You know what I'm saying? When we perform, people are like, yo, your shit is dope. Da, da, da. They're coming up after the show. They're super hype. But when we just give them the CD, we don't even hear nothing back. We're not getting a lot of love. So I said, you know what? When I get home, anybody that offers me a show, and even at this point I was like, if they could offer Solid Ground or Big Zoo, I'm gonna take it. Anything, anybody that offers me a show, I'm gonna take it. And yo, we go back home, and on the answering machine, when literally had an answering machine, so this is how old it was, but on the answering machine, Joey Ty was like, yo, Zoo, I got this opportunity for you to rock. It's on a Sunday night. I want you to host, you as Solid Ground to host with Eye to Eye. I want to put y'all together, and I think together you'd be dope hosting. So it was really Joey Ty's idea. So in my mind, I'm already like, oh, these Eye to Eye niggas, but they are dope. But That's kind of like rivalry. Like, let's see how it goes down. I even agree to go to the night, but I'm going like tentatively. We
Right,
go
right.
there that first night, and it becomes fucking EO dub, yo. We go the very first night, and Joey Ty can't come. We find out later that Joey Ty was sick. He had cancer, and he quickly passed away. So we call
Oh,
this, up until the 20th year, we called it the living legacy of Joey Ty, and now in essence, it's the living legacy of vice versa, right? It's almost like past torches in an ill, like Jedi way. In 20 years, it was Joey Ty's legacy, but now forever forth, we'll say vice versa. But Joey Ty couldn't come. Vice fuck around had the number to this DJ. He's like, I'm gonna see if I could get this DJ to come. He got Scram Jones to come, and that shit was fucking magic. I like, as I think about it now, like literally from the very first night, yo, the shit was like, oh shit, like we're dope together. Like you sound dope, you like we're all dope together. And with Scram Jones spinning, that shit was incredible, man. And that was the very first night of EO Dub. That was like August 20 something in the year 2000.
that's crazy.